Hello all, I am To Hell with a Name on Reddit, and tonight we're going to go over how to make the LED stick person costume that we've seen all over the net as of late. We're going to start off, you're going to need a hooded sweatshirt, sweatpants, wire hanger, pretty standard. Let's see, clear packing tape, two 6-volt lantern style batteries, wire. You're going to need 24 gauge wire, which the rest of the world calls Cat 5. If you don't have Cat 5 and you're in a pinch, you can grab 18 gauge thermostat wire from the hardware store. It will work the same. Let's see, you're going to need 3/8 heat shrink tubing, electrical tape, black or clear, doesn't really matter. Okay. I used the Commercial Electric 8-foot LED color changing flex ribbon light kit with remote from the Home Depot. Now for a full-size adult male, 6'3", I needed 2 kits. Let's see. Breadboard, connectors, wire connectors, any of the above will work, or I'll show you a workaround later. And lastly, snacks. In the way of tools, you're going to need razor knife, soldering kit, or somebody who knows how to solder with a soldering kit, and a Phillips head screwdriver. I'll be back in a second once I get set up and I'll show you how it looks. Okay, step 2. You're going to want to lay out your LEDs, which will be in an 8-foot rule inside of your, let's see, Commercial Electric Home Depot. Inside, you're going to find an 8-foot reel of these that has a ribbon cable with a white connector at the end of it. What you're going to want to do is lay it out on your sweatsuit in such a way so that the junction points, the vast majority, are as close as possible to where you're comfortable keeping the power pack for it. Those 2 batteries you bought are the power pack. We'll get there in a minute. With that, on mine, it was the right arm and the legs. The right arm was carried down to the waist by using Cat 5, and the waist was all junctioned at that point. I used the clear packing tape to adhere the strips to the sweatsuit because I intend on using it for under cabinet lighting when the holiday is over. Alright, next step. Inside of the box, you're also going to find the AC transformer. Now, we are going to, well, void warranties. So, number 2 screwdriver, 4 Phillips heads on the back of the port. With that said, mind you, don't plug this in before you do it. Don't do it with the white cord connected to the wall. You want to see every end of every cord that comes out of this thing when you take it apart. These are capacitors. They can hold a charge. You want to give them wide berth. Take out the circuit board. Congratulations, we have completed step 3. On the back of the circuit board, you're going to find a space that actually has a positive and a negative symbol that is printed on the board. The 2 lands closest to them correspond. At this point, you're going to want to take filaments out of your Cat 5 or out of your thermostat cable, whatever you're using, and solder them to those points. What this is actually going to give you the ability to do is use all the functions of the remote, as opposed to just powering up each individual color one at a time by switch. Cool features. Let's see. Alright, give me a second to reset the camera. Okay, so as we look around the costume, you can see went up, around, down the torso, all the way, but on the arm that was isolated, my right arm, I ran the wire, the ribbon connector that came with, all the way down. Now, on mine, I used a breadboard for my junction point. Now, what you're basically going to have is every leg of your costume is all going to have to come together. And on the actual LED strip, there is 4 leads. Everything that is alike needs to be tied together. All 4 of the plus 12 volts, well, however many legs you have, but all like types need to be tied together. I chose to do a circuit board because I had a circuit board. This is where you can either twist them together and solder them, tie them together using a breadboard, find a computer hard drive jumper, fan jumper, whatever the case may be. But you're going to want to get them together and then take the ribbon cable and connect everything so that everything is matched to the ribbon cable. Now on that white box that you took apart earlier, you'll see that there's a sticker on it that shows you what the pinout of that white connector should be. When you're looking at the transformer, which after what we did earlier, voiding warranties, is no longer a transformer, the outside, here's your wire layout, the outside pin is your plus 12. With that said, I'm going to reset the camera. Alright, to continue. The hanger was actually used to straighten out the hood by running it through where the pull strings are on my costume. And that's what gave me the actual rigid substance to make the head against. With that said, we're now over to the battery pack. Got your 2 6-volt lantern batteries side by side, oriented in the same direction, so that way that both positives are up top, neutrals in the middle. You run a jumper from the hot to the middle, go over that white pack that we modified. We take the red line, which was going off of the positive land in there, and we hook that up. I strongly suggest electrical tape and better hookups, but I don't know how many times I'm going to have to reshoot this. With that said, we make that connection, and then we connect it to the actual costume. On the pack, there is a photo sensor, so you want to leave this exposed from your costume so that way you can get to it or point at it with the remote. Okay, the remote that came with, we have the battery pack hooked up to the receiver with the IR receiver pointed towards the remote, and you can see on. And we have a host of choices here, plus modes. And it's all running off of the 2 batteries. So, with that said, I think that covers it. Splicing the battery is done. Took the test. It appears to be snack time. I want to thank you for your time. This is my first DIY YouTube-ish video. Please drop me a line if you have any questions. Okay, a couple thoughts after snack time. When you open up the white transformer for soldering in those two leads, cut the AC cord off and don't work on that thing while it's plugged in. Don't plug it in. 2, plan a bag. The power source is going to have some weight. It's not something that you want to have in your pockets. You are going to be on the high settings, bright, and I mean very bright. So keep it in mind, especially if you're partying, that you don't want to blind others. The shrink tube that I told you to get was actually for covering any end connections on the LED ribbons. So connecting any ends where there's a no connect or where you've had to transfer the wire. Oh, be respectful of the fact that you're wearing something that's, well, for all intent and purposes, cobbled together with packing materials and under cabinet lighting. And when it's not on, you look like somebody who's got wires going into strange places. If you come into somebody who asked you to put your hands in the air, I recommend you do it. When you get the batteries, you have the option of getting the lantern with battery. I recommend that you get it. Chances are in a full evening you're not going to kill that battery. And, well, a year ago was the hurricane. You can never have too many lanterns. With your costume, use it. If you buy more than one pack and you only have to modify one of the transformers, keep the other transformer. Trust me, this is something where the actual material that you're using has an intrinsic value. If you're just going to toss it, donate it to somebody. It's lighting. And lastly, take responsibility for your own actions. I don't mean to be funny, but you are watching a video by somebody who's going by the moniker of "to hell with the name." Act accordingly.